Good morning, Brownsville. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're watching this feed. If there's your first time here, welcome. My name is Frankie Olivo. Our program focuses on the very important issues that are affecting our local community. We have shed light on injustices and we have allowed for our platform, this mic, to be that of the voice of the people. Now, if this is something that you can see yourself supporting, we ask that you like, comment, and share this live feed. Now, as of late, our Facebook page is at risk of being taken down. The powers that be do not want you, the voter, to know the truth. But remember, we will not be silenced. Now, if you're really about the cause and you want to stand up to corruption and you want to hold our elected leaders accountable, well, we ask that you subscribe to our social media platforms. Currently, right now, this episode is being streamed live across X, formerly known as Twitter, where we can be found under Frankie Olivo. This is streaming on Facebook, where we could be found under Olivo Frankie and Frankie Olivo. And also, more importantly, this episode is being streamed live on our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Remember, Good Morning Brownsville will come on Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. religiously. So make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms. In particular, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Currently, right now, we're just at 760 subscribers. Our goal by the end of this year is to reach 1,000. Remember, I will never ever ask you for money. I will never ever ask you for food. Well, depends what you're making. All I ask of my community is a simple subscription to the channel, which is absolutely free. All you have to do is create, if you don't have one already, a Gmail account. That way you can subscribe to the YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. And thank you so much, Brownsville, for the time and attention that you provide us. Thank you so much for that. How we doing, chat? How we doing? Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. I hope the start of the week has been pleasant for many of y'all. It seems as if we're back to reality. Some might argue and say, Frankie, we never had a break. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be talking about the new school year. Something for us to look forward to, new beginnings, new ideas, new expectations, right? We focus, and we've been criticized a lot by primarily focusing on BISD. I tell my detractors, those people that criticize me, and I say, well, do you have information in regards to the charter schools? We've been fortunate to have the trust, the confidence in community members and people that work for the school district at BISD, that they do confide in us information. And these are people that are tired of politics. BISD being the biggest employer south of San Antonio with close to 6,000 employees. It's a juggernaut. It's a monster. And what we have seen has been that, for far too long, BISD has been sneered in corruption and allegations, serious allegations of compadrismo. At the end of the day, we've all heard the phrase, it's not what you know, but who you know. I want to start off this episode by saying that while I have been very critical of BISD, of the superintendent, of the administration, I want to let you know that I'm your biggest champion. I'm your biggest cheerleader. I don't want you to think that by me voicing my concerns or concerns of community members or concerns of staff, that I am against you. By no means. It's funny because when I started doing this podcast shortly after the passing of my predecessor, when I would show up to the board meetings, people would shake my hand. They would say hello to me. And after I blasted people, after I called people out, after I started bringing up the truths of what's going on, people tended to avoid me. I could understand why. And I'm not the easiest guy to like. At the end of the day, all I want is what you want. I want the better Brownsville. I want the better BISD. We hear of corruption. year in and year out, and we want that to change. We expect that elected leaders will work for us. At the end of the day, we hope that those individuals serve the people. What we have seen, the total opposite. It gets to their head. They start scheming. They start playing the politics game, and they forget the reason why they were elected. Best believe that Good Morning Brownsville will continue to keep our elected leaders accountable. That is our job. Now, while we have been very critical, I want each and every one of you to know, from the superintendent on down, I am your biggest supporter. I am here to let you know that I am hoping for you to have a great school year, because at the end of the day, it starts from the top. While I have been very critical of instances of things that I've seen, information that I've been provided, I am willing to let bygones be bygones. People have asked me, why do you do this? There isn't people out there that care. Why are you wasting your time? Well, I genuinely believe that there is a community out there that does want change, that does want people that are servants. The Rio Grande Valley, unfortunately, is smeared in corruption. And whenever we think of politicians, whenever we think of the higher ups, that's the first thing that comes to mind. Now, this job, what I do, it isn't easy. I do dedicate a large part of my day in preparation for this. And people ask me, why do you do this? Well, because it's good to get in contact. People have contacted me, and I'm talking about grandparents. I'm talking about parents, students, teachers, members within the community, and they say, hey, keep it up. You're onto something. No le aflojes. Sígale tirando fregazos. And that's something that we want to be known as. At the end of the day, we don't do this to be liked. We don't do this for clout. This might sound egoistic, but everyone knows who I am. For better or worse, dick pic and all. I'm not doing this for people to like me. I was grown with the idea that, Frankie, it's best to be respected than to be liked. That is my approach to everything that I do. While I am very critical of the school district, I am the biggest champion. And I hope that we have a great 2025-2026 school year. And that is how we will start today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in, Brownsville.
As mentioned, Brownsville ISD students and teachers are heading back to school this morning, and I sat down with the BISD superintendent, Jesus Chavez, to get an outlook of the new school year and how they plan to implement the state-mandated cell phone ban in the classroom. Take a look. The new school year is underway for Brownsville ISD. Just tell us the preparations you've been making this past summer, your staff, your teachers on hand, getting ready with the campuses for this summer. What have you all been doing for this school year?
Well, we're very excited about the start of the new year. It's always wonderful, right, that we get our students back. But here over the summertime, I know, teachers have been resting, but in addition to that, they've also been preparing for the start of the new school year.
Tell us what students and parents can anticipate this coming school year. What changes might they see on campuses and programs?
Well, Brownsville's done so well here, not only in their academics, but also their athletics program as well as their fine arts program. So we're going to continue to emphasize that whole education spectrum, right? So that they get a great education. One of the things that I've always emphasized to our students, our parents, and all of our district folks is that we are about not only graduating students from the high school level, but we're about preparing them so they can continue education. And so that's still an emphasis that we have, that I bring to the district. I want all of our students to be ready to go to college, go to university. I know we also have a number of students who say, I don't want to be there for 2 years or 4 years, at a college university. And for them, we also focus on, well, what work are you going to be doing, and what specific training, what certification do we need to get you? Now, for some of the students, we actually get the certification. But in addition to that, we also want to refer them to TSC and or one of the other job openings that we have with regards to training that they will receive.
And another big change that all school districts here in Texas are going to see is the House bill that's going to be banning cell phones. I know we talked about this before. I know you guys are in the process of trying to implement some policy. Is there an update on that and what you all might plan to do this year?
Well, here, I mean, the main thing for us is that we've got to follow the law, right? And what I mean by that is that no, students can't have their phones out during the day. Now, can they bring them and put them up? Keep them away from actually having them available during the day. That's what the law requires, and so we're going to be following that. But they can still bring their phones and put them away. Now, there will be some disciplinary action if indeed they take them out or they're on the phone, right after their math or their science class. That we don't want because it's prohibited for them to be using the phone during the day.
What's some goals do y'all have in mind and words of encouragement to students and parents and staff as we approach this new school year?
Well, yes, when you think of our goals, I mean, the primary goal we have is we want all of our students to do well academically. So we work very closely with our teachers, our principals, to make sure we have a good school improvement plan as it relates as to how students learn and how they perform. And so we're going to continue to emphasize that. But in addition to that, remember, one of the other emphasis that I have for our children is that if they want to participate in the fine arts program, we have fabulous fine arts programming. In addition to that, we want them to be well physically with physical education and or athletics. And so that's an area that we're going to continue to emphasize and focus on.
Thanks so much for your time this morning and good luck to this new school year.
Thank you so much.
Now, a new school year holds different meanings for students, parents, and teachers, but it also brings a shared sense of anticipation, hope, and responsibility. Now, from a student's perspective, it means a fresh start. A new school year means new beginnings, an opportunity to start over, set goals, try harder than last year. When we talk about students in the classroom, it's all about friendships. It's a chance for them to reconnect with old friends and make new ones. We hope that they grow, not just academically, but socially and emotionally as well. New school year does present challenges. There have been new subject matters that they're probably not as strong in. But at the end of the day, challenges in life are good. They let us know that, hey, there is something to strive for. And we should encourage our students, our loved ones to have big goals, to big dreams. Now, for parents, this is a great way for us as parents to find new routines, early mornings. How are we going to help with homework? Packing lunches, after school activities are going to come back. At the end of the day, parents invest in their child's future. It's a reminder that, child's growth and importance of education. A new school year does come with a lot of worries and hopes because you want your child to succeed. You're worried about their safety. You're worried about their well-being, but they also hope for academic achievement. At the end of the day, they hope for their children to be happy in school. There's also partnerships with the school. I said before that it is very important for the parents to have some sort of role in the education of the children. For far too long, parents always expect for the teacher, for the principal to be the one that shaped the child's life in educating. While that is true to a certain extent, education, respect, it all starts in the classroom. It all starts at home before it starts in the classroom. So it's important for parents to engage with teachers and schools to make it an issue that there is going to be that support system, because together, the parents and the teachers, together, they're going to mold and guide that child's learning journey throughout this 2025 school year. For teachers, a new school year means a new opportunity, a fresh start. It's each year, year after year, it's a chance for the teachers to refine their methods of teaching. They want to reach new students. They want to inspire new minds. Teachers also, they have a great way of building relationships, creating an environment where students feel safe, valued, and where the students are ready to learn. Teaching does come with challenges as well. Teachers, they must learn how to manage classrooms, how to stay updated with technology, curriculum, policies. Many teachers also can attest to the fact that being in the classroom is rewarding. While it is a big responsibility, there is a reward to watch students grow and succeed. So the start of the new school year is more than just going back to class. It's a powerful time to reflect and focus on renewal, on growth, on connection for everyone involved. While each group of students, teachers, and parents, they all experience it differently, it is fair to say that there is a common goal to help the students learn, to thrive, and to reach their full potential. But also, ladies and gentlemen, also, it's not just for the teachers, the students, and the parents, but also it's a great way for our leaders, those individuals that were entrusted with making the tough decisions on educating, on providing, on governing the school district. I wanted to focus today on reflecting on the past a little bit and focusing on the future. Again, if we don't really understand the past, if we don't learn from our mistakes, how are we going to proceed in the future? How are we going to grow as people? Now, again, Good Morning Brownsville, we have been very critical of these individuals on the screen. And we've made it a point, and I hope you understand that this is nothing personal. I hold nothing personal against these individuals. Everything that they do is based on merit. Our platform focuses on elected officials, not their personal life, not their families. Sometimes the families get intertwined in this because they might work at the school district, and maybe people, parents, teachers, their colleagues have complained about their actions or lack thereof. But here, it's nothing personal. Many people have held that against me and have said, oh, why are you so critical of this person? Well, because they've effed up. And again, I hate to repeat myself, but I want you to know, BISD board, Superintendent Dr. Chavez, I am your biggest cheerleader. We hold your feet to the fire because we care. If we didn't care, we'd be like, háganse garras. It is said that teachers, even parents, are very critical of theirs because they genuinely care. And at the end of the day, this isn't about us. This is about the future. Ultimately, the board, they took an oath to do what's in the very best interest of others, not them. This new school year represents an opportunity for the board to continue with the quest to be the very best. And look, we need to be on our A game, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because we are losing students at a rapid pace. We have very important decisions moving forward. Let's start off with the issue of the bond. They had a workshop, if I'm not mistaken. I do anticipate that this will go out to the voters, in my opinion. And look, it is no secret. The charter schools, they're eating our lunch. The school district at Brownsville, BISD, is losing students at a rapid pace. At one time in its heyday, we had 40,000, mid 40s. Right now, we're at the lower 30s, 32. And it's only going to get worse. Why? At the end of the day, BISD is a juggernaut. The school district is a monster. It's difficult. I don't want to make it seem as if, oh, these guys that have it easy. No. These individuals on the screen, they have a very difficult job. And us being critical of them is with the expectation that they know that the community is watching and listening to the concerns of staff members, listening to the concerns of community members. Again, I'm very thankful that I have the confidence in community members. I've been called, texted by grandparents and said, Frankie, I have my grandbabies at this certain school. Should I be worried about what's going on? Please address this issue. The community wants to know. I am of the belief that we should always applaud our elected officials when they do right. At the end of the day, it is their duty. So essentially, we shouldn't be applauding them, right? Because, hey, you ran for this. What, you want to get patted on the back for something that you were entrusted to do? That's your job. When we think of our job, I don't have my clients saying, te la aventaste, te la rifaste, no, you're awesome. Hey, Frank, give me a hug. They say, hey, Frankie, you did your job. What do you expect, bro? But we live in a world where, what's the proper term? We seek gratification. We seek approval. We want people, yay, we want the applause. I could understand that, right? And again, this is a very difficult job in which our board members have. But at the end of the day, they chose this. Nobody forced them to run. They knew the expectations. They knew that this was without pay for some. So at the end of the day, while we hold our feet to the fire, I guess it's fair to say that we should applaud them for doing good. At the end of the day, that's what they're supposed to do. But I want to talk about what we have seen as of late. When I say that parents, teachers, community members have reached out to me, it's because they're genuinely concerned. They're concerned about what is going on at the school district. And look, I have said for the longest time, BISD is where they sweep things under the rug. That is the job of the attorneys. The attorneys, they get paid very well to make things go away. There have been cases of teacher-student relationships. And this happens. And again, I don't want to fear we get criticized. You're clickbait. Oh, you just want views. So yeah, we want to do the very best at what we do. We want to be the very best. But is there a culture that we have seen at a certain high school? Yes. Unfortunately, the recent arrest of a teacher-student relationship at Rivera, what it taught us, what I learned through our investigation was that this wasn't an isolated incident. No. This was a case where it was a culture. And I'm going back 10, 20 years. And this isn't something, again, I want to clarify. Whenever I say things, I don't throw things at the wall. That's not my job. I don't go on a fishing expedition. We get criticized and they say, Frankie nomás tira y pesca and hopes he gets something. That's not the way I work. I get fed information. I wait. I sit on that information and I try to verify. If I don't verify, I don't post. I can't post because I'm going to look bad. And look, I'm not a journalist by trade, but I respect the profession. And I want you to respect me. I don't need you to like me. But I do expect for y'all to respect what we do. And how is that? By giving you the whole enchilada, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the black and the white. That is my job. Many people don't like it. Politicians hate what I do. Again, this program is designed in a way to give us, the 98% of us that are not in those political circles, that aren't being wined and dined by the vendors. For you, the program is designed for you to get inside information. And I hope that you appreciate what we do. Where's my pat on the back? What we learned from Rivera High School in particular was that it was a culture dating back to Coach Tom Chavez. Names such as Fardy Trevino were being accused or being alleged against them, not by me, but by victims. And we have showed proof. Everything that we do is with receipts, ladies and gentlemen. What we have seen from the community is that they're scared about what's going on. And what I've uncovered through the community that's reached out is that this has been going on for 10 to 20 years. We have directed victims to the district attorney's office. What happens then? That's totally out of our hands. Our job is to get them to the proper channels, to the proper people. What have we seen? Well, we saw how not much has changed at Rivera. We heard how Obed Leal, the current principal, knew about the culture. We've spoken previously about Cindy Elizondo, how she is a counselor. And she knew about the relationship with Trujillo. Now, how? Because there is family members. They were close friends, or the families are very close. So individuals knew about what was going on at Rivera. It is being alleged that even administrators at Rivera knew what was going on. Why is Obed Leal still at Rivera? And once this happened, ladies and gentlemen, people reached out to us and said Obed Leal was a political hire. When we talk about how he got that job, it was because of who he knew. It wasn't because of his I have here, anonymous, please. Obed Leal was at Stell Middle School, and out of all the middle schools, he had the lowest performance ratings, but yet he was promoted to principal at Rivera. How did that play out? So again, at BISD, it is a culture of not what you know, or not based on your merits, but possibly who you know. We expect that the very best product is before your child. That's the expectation of all of us, right? At the end of the day, we want the very best to lead, to guide, to mold. What have we seen from the past? That is just business as usual. That Obed Leal, who knew about the culture at Rivera, who Cindy Elizondo, whose husband is a board member, she's a counselor. She was mingling in the hiring and firing of coaches. She was included in emails with Charlie Atkinson to cause fear to pressure coaches. Did anybody tell her anything? No. For far too long, the school district has been smeared, ladies and gentlemen, in this personal vendettas. People are scared. People are generally scared. When you talk to teachers, why do you think I know all this information about BISD? Is it because I have my eyes and ears? No, it's impossible. BISD has, at one time, had 52 campuses. Now, after closures and consolidations, we're down, but BISD is a monster. So how in the world does Good Morning Brownsville know all this information? Because of community members. They're scared of retaliation. Retaliation is real. The morale at BISD is low. That is the truth. How will we progress as a school district if we don't learn from our past? Now, we hope that there was an investigation done at Rivera High School. But again, attorneys, their job is to protect the image of their client. And we talk about BISD. BISD is a $500 million, billion with a B. Their annual budget this year is the highest it's ever been at $600 million. You think they want that notoriety? You think they want that attention? No, by no means. They make things go away. So what did we learn? We learned that Obed Leal, who knew about the culture, who lived in fear of Cindy Lizondo, he didn't want to cause waves because her husband's a board member. He's still at Rivera High School. What's to say that this incident with this teacher-student relationship is not going to happen again? Is he going to put his foot down? We expected for Cindy Lizondo to be investigated as well because she knew of the relationship. She was best friends with the aunt or best friends with the mom, something like that. She was very close to the family. She knew what was going on. She knew the culture. Was Counselor Cindy Lizondo investigated for this? We ask. We don't believe so. We heard rumblings that Cindy Lizondo wanted to leave Rivera because of the scandal, because she wanted to be with Norma Jean at Veterans. And again, Veterans is like the foofy school. You get the cream of the crop in regards to students, maybe even teachers as well. But you get the smart, athletic students. Veterans is like the school everyone wants to be at. We learned during the summer that she was clearing out her office, only to learn that she was being moved to another office. And our sources said, I think they're being moved closer to Obed Leal. I think he wants to have a closer eye on her because he knew that it was Cindy and Carlos that were stabbing him in the back with everything they were saying about him. Who can forget the famous Jazz Marie Reyes profile? Can you imagine, ladies and gentlemen, a school board member using a fake profile to viciously attack employees of the district? And everyone that knows Carlos is vicious. Carlos is a shark. Carlos, he holds nothing back. And then behind a fake profile, even more so. What did he say about Obed Leal? He was incompetent. And how did he know everything that was going on at Rivera? Because of his wife. It's funny. The day we exposed Carlos Elizondo as being part of, or if not directly behind, the page of Jazz Marie Reyes that was blasting BISD employees, the day that we exposed that page, it went dark. Isn't that a coincidence? All this page had to do was take a selfie, date it, and said, look, I am Jazz Marie Reyes. What Frankie is saying is a lie. And again, these are serious allegations that I made, ladies and gentlemen, against a sitting school board member. Very serious allegations. We're going on 3 months now. Has he denied them? Has he said, ese vato está loco, no le hagan caso? These people, they think that by not addressing the issue, it's going to go away. I am not going to let that happen. I'm going to remind my community of what a piece of crap Carlos Elizondo is, because he's a coward. He uses fake profiles to bash people. I don't use a fake profile. If I have something to say, you know who it's coming from. If I have a rock to throw, best believe you know who's throwing that rock. So I'm going to continue to remind you of what this man did. And I openly stated to Obed Leal, Charlie Atkinson, sue the mother sucker. Sue him. He defamed you. He made people doubt your credibility. He tarnished your credibility. You could even sue the school district. Why? Because they did nothing about it. They know what's going on. Did they investigate? Did they look into the page? Remember, Carlos Elizondo made serious accusations while a teacher was previously arrested for having a relationship with a student of Charlie Atkinson, and coaches having an apartment that they would take kids to. Can you imagine that? And people like Maggie, Dr. Maggie. Well, people have said, Frankie, she's not a doctor. Technically, she took the courses, but she didn't pass the exam. People like Maggie allowing for this anonymous Jasmine Marie Reyes to share information such as a coach using an apartment to take kids over. Can you imagine that? Shouldn't this board member be charged with a crime? If you have knowledge of something this severe, this serious, you should report it. And this individual, what he did was wrong. I will continue to let you know of what he is, of who he is. He's a coward. Have you seen Maggie post stuff now? No. Why? Because Carlos lost his page. Thanks to Good Morning Brownsville, of course. We've also heard of B. Hernandez, how B. Hernandez has the superintendent by the coconitos, that she does as she pleases. There is information that I have been provided, and this isn't new information. People are saying, oh, Frankie, you make it seem like this is breaking news. No, but it is alleged that B. Hernandez is currently under a doctoral program, and she's away from the office, from her desk, so to speak, for a couple days, if not a day. She takes time off her profession as an administrator to take these courses. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat. And I received this message. Hello, Frankie. An anonymous person would like you to look into this. Can someone explain why the superintendent is letting B. Hernandez run the whole district? It feels like every decision is coming from her. It's driving some of our best principals to leave. She micromanages everything, acts unprofessionally, can't communicate well, and honestly seems completely lost. Yet somehow she's the only one he listens to. Why is that? If the superintendent isn't going to lead or make his own decisions, why is he even in this role? He needs to step up or step aside. And he definitely needs to do something about B before more damage is done. These are genuine concerns that the community has. Colleagues of Ms. B, people that she rubs elbows with, are sending me this information. People at the Glass Palace. How is it that she's the favorite? She gets all this leeway. We understand that the superintendent has a difficult job in managing, but hey, he gets paid more than the president of the United States. I think he gets paid with benefits and insurance and everything. I think it's like over $400,000. It's a lot of money. And if someone gets paid that much, we expect them to chop, to be hustling and bustling. At least that's the expectation that I have. I don't know about you, community, But if someone's getting paid handsomely, we expect them to be very good at their job, if not darn close to it. Again, nobody's perfect. But what's going to happen moving forward for this new school year? Is B. Hernandez, we have been getting information from community members, from her own colleagues, from her own people that she rubs elbows with. They're sending us the information. Why? Because nothing's being done about it. That is why people reach out to us. Also, the most important thing that is happening at the school district is the cell phone bill. This House Bill 1481, which was signed by Governor Abbott, it bans the use of personal communications, includes cell phones, tablets, smartwatches during the school day. This law does go into effect September 1st. With school districts, they are required to adopt this policy by the 18th. Now, I can go on about the potential benefits of this. You know, this could enhance classroom focus and behavior. It's going to reduce distraction because, again, everyone's on the phone. Ourselves, our elderly population, everyone's on the phone. Now, our younger generation, that's all they do. They're on the phone 24/7, right? Maybe this bill that banned electronics, maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's going to focus or benefit mental health. It's going to limit screen time. It's going to reduce social media. Us in social media, I will address that right now, Graf. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Social media, ladies and gentlemen, is a lie. Don't believe nothing on social media. When I think of social media, I think of keeping up with the Jones. Mira, Frankie tiene un Porsche, yo también me quiero agarrar un Porsche. Frankie tiene esto de lujo, yo también quiero esto de lujo. We are creatures of habit. We are monkey see, monkey do. Don't believe social media. It is fake. People say, oh, I love my babe. I love my babe. Mira, y por atrás le están poniendo cuernos. Moco, moco, moco. Don't believe that. Maybe this cell phone ban is good for us. Now, there have been people that have been critical of this and said, hey, what happens when this could be a safety issue? Well, we have to focus on our communication, on our communication system. Does the school district have text to teachers? Is there, if there's a lockdown of schools, is there a way for us to communicate that without cell phones? There should be. And this is a difficult task moving forward. I understand that. The response time, and again, especially in these delicate cases where a weapon is involved, whenever you have teachers, staff, students in the vicinity of someone that could potentially cause harm. Yes, Galarza, the banned House Bill 1481 signed by Governor Abbott, it is for public and charter schools in Texas. So yes, this is across the board, which will go into effect September 1st. The school district has given, warnings and things like that. Well, what's going to happen? What are we going to do? The first offense, the second offense, third offense, fourth offense. We encourage our parents to be supportive of this bill, to be supportive of this new law. I understand your reluctance. We are all hesitant to change. I know this might seem like a burden. This might seem like fear for safety. But we need to focus on addressing mental health, especially with our students. Look at the young generation. They're on their tablets, they're on their phones more than they should. And parents, They're not policing them. They should. They should be checking their history, making sure they have the parental guidelines for all these apps, because social media is susceptible to all these vulgarities and illicit pictures and videos and things like that. So while many people are reluctant for this new change, we hope that we look at the positivity in this. We're gonna focus more on educating. There's not going to be that issue of being behind the screen for the students. That is what we encourage our parents to support. Lastly, we started today's show of stating on the record that while Good Morning Brownsville and Frankie Olivo have been very critical of Dr. Jesus Chavez and of board members, we want to reiterate, this program is your biggest champion, doctor. We genuinely want you to succeed. We understand that there are members on that board that have actively been asking for your resignation, for your termination. We understand that you have the support of some of the board members. I guess it's split. Currently, right now, Dr. Chavez is on the chopping block. He has 1 year. Next summer is when his contract is up. Many anticipate it. We have gone on the record and stated we anticipate that Dr. Chavez is not going to last. We have seen how he hasn't, unfortunately, been able to grab the bull by the horns, so to speak. We encourage Dr. Chavez to be vocal, to lead, to guide, to communicate. We understand that this job is very difficult, doctor. We want you to know that you have our support. We will be your biggest cheerleaders for this year, because it all starts at the top, sir. If you make the wise decisions, if you make the right decisions on placements, on hirings, on shuffling administrators, shuffling staff, ultimately who is going to affect the most is the teachers, and the teachers, it trickles down to the students. Let this new school year serve as a reminder that there is new beginnings, there is new hope. While we have been very critical of you, sir, we are rooting for you. And we hope, since you are a born and bred Brownsvillian, taught in Brownsville, are very familiar with the school district, we hope that you're here for many years to come. But we expect change. We expect you to rule with an iron fist. Remember what I said. In life, doctor, it's best to be respected than to be liked. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel titled Frankie Olivo TV. Good Morning Brownsville will come on to you Monday to Friday at 9 a.m. religiously. So make sure you subscribe to our social media platforms. Happy Tuesday. Make sure you get a taco. I hope you have a great day to your week. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Frank Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. Peace!